Hi, my name's Ellie Sample. I'm the Director of Marketing, Communications and Development here at the University of Lincoln, and I am absolutely delighted to welcome you here to our open day. It's a virtual open day, but we are completely live, and you can ask us any questions in the chat, so please do so. But without further ado, let me introduce my fabulous co-host, Emma.
Hi,
Emma.
good morning. Good morning, Ellie, and good morning to Billy. Thank you, Billy, for joining us early at the start of this open day. Do you want me to explain where I am, Ellie?
That would be super, Emma. Thank you.
Brilliant. So I am in the Isaac Newton building. So this is the Isaac Newton Lecture Theatre. So you can see me behind here, waiting for our students to arrive tomorrow. Well, they're arriving today, but first lessons tomorrow. And so, yeah, that's where I am, right in the centre of the campus here at the Brayford.
No, that's really exciting. Normally, of course, in normal circumstances, we would both be over there and we would be serving a really tasty breakfast and coffee at the moment to all of you who would be arriving into our fabulous Isaac Newton building. Isaac Newton, of course, one of the famous sons of Lincolnshire, comes from Wolfsport Manor, and interestingly, had some of his most amazing ideas and breakthroughs during a lockdown. For I think was it an influenza pandemic? Someone will correct me in the chat now, unless you're going to correct me, Emma.
I'm most certainly not a scientist, so absolutely no idea. But is definitely somebody that we are very fond of from Lincolnshire. That is absolutely certain. And this building is housed. It houses our physics students and our computing students and our engineering students. So, you know, aptly named, I would say, for Isaac Newton.
It is, and there's even a tree. There's we took a cutting from the tree that the apple came from that fell on Isaac Newton's head, and we planted it outside, and it's outside your building, I believe, Emma. So if we get really stuck for inspiration today, we can go out there and sit under the tree, which is fabulous. On the other hand, I'm in the Vice Chancellor's office, just a short way across the campus. And our Vice Chancellor, Professor Mary Stewart, is a really fabulous, inspirational woman who leads the University of Lincoln with the ethos of putting the students at the heart of every single thing that we do. And so students sit on all of our interview panels, they sit on all of our committees, and students are strongly involved in the direction of the university. And I'm very lucky to work for such a wonderful woman whose research interests are around social mobility and civic education and leadership in higher education. And you can see behind me that I am in the middle of the campus, and yet we're right in the heart of Lincoln, the city. And there is the castle and the cathedral, which are at the top of the hill, which is called Steep Hill. So this gives you quite a sense of how integrated the university is into the city of Lincoln. 1 in 5 people in Lincoln is a student, and it's a really fabulous place to live. Wouldn't you agree, Emma?
I would, yeah. I've obviously been here an awful long time, but it's the most beautiful city. And I think as you look out, it's just a shame that there's that sort of shielding just by you, Ellie, because actually looking out, we're looking out onto the Brayford Pool. So it is on a really autumnal sunny morning. It is very sort of as if you're sort of on holiday, very Mediterranean feel. It really is. We have a bit of everything at Lincoln, I would say.
We do, we really do. There's otters and swans and Muscovy ducks running around. So if you hear a lot of quacking, that's what I'm sitting next to. And you've said hello to Billy, but we're going to say hi to Charlie Thorpe and Ollie Evans. Thanks very much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed today. I'm going to ask Emma if you don't mind running through the agenda and all of the great things that will be happening today.
Yeah, absolutely. So this morning between 10 and 12, sorry. The first session of the day really is finding out about Lincoln. So we're hearing from current students. So we've got Will, who is a medical student. We're going to listen to Will. We're going to hear from Marvin, who is an alumni of the University of Lincoln. Equally, what we have got today is some facts for you. So we need to help you on your journey. We understand that sort of the application journey is sort of a little bit accelerated this year because we've all just gone back to school. So we've got help on hand. So we have Ben Ball, who is our accommodation manager, which is a very, very busy day for Ben because we have our students arriving for 2020 today. So Ben is going to drop in and give us what's on offer, what accommodation is we have at Lincoln, and how you go about applying, basically what the structure is. Equally, we have Catherine Turner. Now, Catherine is absolutely the font of all finance knowledge. So she can just tell you all about what scenario, if you've got a scenario, ask Catherine your question, basically.
She is brilliant. She knows everything, doesn't she?
She does. So if there is you want to know, actually, what do you do? How do you fund your student finance? That's simple. Catherine can explain. If you know a little bit, but you're not sure of your situation, then Catherine can help you with that as well. Most importantly, or not most importantly, but also we've got the Students' Union. So Amina is going to explain all about all of the exciting things the Students' Union do. And at 12 o'clock, we're going to flip across to your course interests. So anybody that is interested in a subject, which we hope that you are, you can actually find out and have a sort of discussion with the lecturers and students alike, all about but at subject level, really.
And I'm going to say a big hello to Jenny, Lauren Rose, Sophie, Amelia, Shakira, brilliant name Shakira, it makes me want to sing, but I won't, don't worry, Aidan and Amelia and Biba, and of course Mary Stewart, our Vice Chancellor, who I'm not surprised is watching us today. So if you want to say hello to Mary in the chat, I know she'll be delighted to hear from you. And she always wants to know what students think and what parents think, if we've got any parents out there who are here to say hello to us today. We've also got a very special visitor today. Fingers crossed, touch wood, one of our visiting professors, Chris Packham, who is currently filming Eagles, I believe somewhere in the UK, but he'll correct me shortly. And he's going to join us and talk a little bit about what he does with our students here at Lincoln, and of course a little bit about the climate. We take the climate emergency very seriously, and Emma, you will recognise this. Would you like to explain what this is, Emma, and why I'm holding it?
I will. That is our University of Lincoln sweatshirt. It is new for this year, and we will be following through with this. It is absolutely not only the most comfiest, gorgeous sweatshirt that you can wear, but it is made out of recycled materials. So it's made of recycled plastic bottles and recycled sort of plastics and waste, basically. And it's waste to what's the little logo on there, Ellie?
From waste to well loved.
Well loved.
Like us.
You are very, very well loved. And ultimately, if you choose Lincoln, which we hope obviously that you do, and you in the application cycle you get us to your firm choice, your first choice, then what we will do is we'll send you out one of these sweatshirts in the post so that you're absolutely joining that Lincoln community straight away.
We call it a hug in a box. We've got a really good question from Semri Mimuglu. And Semri, you're asking, what if you're conflicted between two subjects and they're on at the same time? That's a really good question. Emma, would you like to answer that one?
It is a really good question, and I know that we've been asked this actually last week as well, so thank you for asking. What I suggest you do is you go to one of the subjects and watch that live. The fortunate thing is that actually we're not going to sort of just disappear, so you can go back to your second subject and watch that slightly later, just like a on demand. We are on demand as well as being live.
We are definitely on demand, aren't we, Emma? We are. Or you can go into our Slido chat. There's a chat if you go through, and Darren, our producer, will put up a little message, and if you click through to the main Virtual Open Day website, you can go into the chat and actually ask our team, who are all here with us today, and they'll answer any questions and take the important conversations offline. Now, producer Darren, are you there, and are you willing to say a quick hello to everyone who's watching? Darren is one of our alumnus. Hi, Darren. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I studied at the University of Lincoln. I did film and television, loved the experience so much. I actually came just for the education, but there's a huge experience that you get with university. It's just, honestly, it's amazing. But yeah, I graduated in 2014, left Lincoln for a year, but always wanted to come back. I was desperate to come back. And luckily I was able to work for the university as well, and still use some of the skills that I learned here and put them into practice and use them.
That's really good. And I'm going to say hi to Freya, Keris and JS. Thank you for joining us. It's really super to have you here with us. If you've got any questions, please post them in the chat. And Darren, before we move on, can I ask, what's your favourite thing to do in Lincoln?
Well, my favourite thing to do at Lincoln now is walk my dog around the Belgate. Asked me when I was a student, that would have been a different answer, I think. But now I just love the Belgate area. It's so nice. There's all sorts of things to do. Like I always think it looks a bit like Diagon Alley from Harry Potter, which is cool.
It really is, isn't it? It is like being in the middle. I always say it's like Lord of the Rings, but that's because I'm so much older than you, Darren. But it's like Middle Earth. But either way, it's absolutely beautiful. And I think Emma and I both agree that graduation, when we graduate in the cathedral at the top of the hill there, it is so beautiful. And we always end up having a little cry. Darren doesn't, because he's younger than us and doesn't do things like that. Hi, Jan Stubbs. We're glad to hear that your daughter is a third year here and loves it. And you're welcome to come back and visit whenever you want, even after she graduates. It's a fabulous city. And as we said, the really great thing is that we're right in the heart of it, right here in Lincoln. So you are literally a 5-minute walk from the high street. You walk along the Brayford, which is directly behind me, and that used to be the heart of a Roman retirement village when the Romans ruled Lincoln. And you come up and you go up steep hill, and aptly named, really, Emma, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. Fortunately, there are lots of shops on the route, so you can always just sort of stop and have a little look, and there's little tea rooms and all sorts along the route of steep hills. So there's always a sort of chance to have a little break, because it can be quite challenging walking up there, certainly for me anyway.
No, definitely. But if you're fit and young, then probably about 10-15 minutes and you're up in the Belgate Quarter. Alternatively, here down on the Brayford campus and on the other side of the Brayford, there's all the sort of eateries that you can imagine. And we've got a really good question from Awesome Ninja. That's a great name. So how expensive is it to live in Lincoln? My real name is Luke Bradbury. Hello, Luke. It's lovely to meet you. And that's a really, really good question. I'm gonna get Darren actually to answer that one.
Yeah, well, Lincoln's not one of the most expensive places to live, fortunately. I think when I was a student, I lived quite comfortably on my loans and things that I got like that, and my grants and stuff. And one of the good things about Lincoln as well is that we have a careers service and the SU careers service, which Amina might be able to talk more about. But they're there to help you get a job while studying, a part-time job while studying, if you need it, which is brilliant. I had a job when I went into second and third year, which helped a little bit, but I was fine with my loans and grants anyway. But there's things like Morrison's, like 2 minutes from Courts and stuff, which is a really nice, convenient place to get any like cheap foods and stuff if that's the worry. But yeah, definitely not the most expensive place to live at all.
No, and talking of places to live, is it time to introduce our head of accommodation, our expert on all things accommodation, and maybe say goodbye to producer Darren? Thank you so much for being the best producer around. We're so lucky to have you. And would you mind introducing Ben?
Will do.
And we'll find out where Ben is today.
It's a very, very good day. Oh, hello, Ben. Hello.
Hi.
Oh my goodness, where are you? What are you doing, Ben?
Well, I'm still in Signet Wharf where I would normally do, but most of our students moved into Signet Wharf yesterday. But we have a small apartment that we haven't actually allocated at the moment. And so I've managed to sneak in a room here, but we did our intake to Signet Wharf yesterday. Everybody got their, hopefully you see, welcome home cards. Welcome to
Oh, that's lovely.
and a piece of chocolate, and so we welcomed in Valentine Court and Gateway and Signet Wharf, and we're sort of doing the rest today. So we've all dried off a little bit from yesterday, and hopefully we can just finish the task off today.
That rain was awful yesterday, wasn't it? It was just dreadful. Oh, but luckily today, as Emma said earlier, it is so beautiful and sunny, isn't it? So a much better day. Everyone's really happy today. So I shall hand over to Emma.
So Ben, once we've got over this weekend, obviously, and we've got all of our students in, as you know, the viewers today are looking for 2021. So given that this would be a normal physical open day and we'd have sort of parents asking questions and things like that, can you give us a bit of an idea as to what our typical accommodation is? And obviously you're in a room at Signet Wharf, but if you can just briefly sort of go over what accommodation we have on campus.
So our on-campus accommodation consists of 3 villages, if you like. We have the Signet Wharf development, which has 442 ensuite bedrooms in different size apartments, but mainly 10s and 12s. There are 1 or 2 smaller ones. As I say, I'm in one of those right now. The bed head, let me move a little bit. The bed head storage is really good. I can't give you a quick visit of the room, but our 360-degree tours on our websites are really, really informative. So that's a full ensuite development. We have our Lincoln Courts, which was our original student village, which offers us just over 1,000 single study bedrooms, of which just over 900 are ensuite. And therefore we have an ensuite option and what we call a value option now. So for people who are challenged by budget or thinking of managing budgets, there are a couple of price ranges on the site there. And then we've opened this year, in fact, more or less today, 179 High Street. So the first students are moving in for the first time into 179 High Street.
That's really exciting.
So hopefully that will go okay for them, and therefore we'll all be learning lessons about that building. But that has 301 rooms, a few, I think it's 17 studio bedrooms where you can have independent living, and then the remainder are all ensuite rooms again. And there are 3 on-campus buildings, as we call on campus in Lincoln. We then have a number of buildings that are called off-campus that are managed by the university. But in Lincoln, when we talk about off-campus, we can nearly say next door and actually a stone's throw. And we can prove it with people who've got a good throw. So we have, I'm going to point that way to say behind me is Viking House. Viking House has 272 rooms. It's about 2 minutes walk off the campus, about from where I am, off the university overpass. And then we have across the other side of the campus, close to McDonald's, is the Gateway. And the Gateway has 519 rooms, a majority of studio rooms in that particular location, but studio rooms in an apartment setting. So you can have an independent living experience, but there are shared lounges in the majority of those studio apartments. There are some independent studio apartments, a few of, but so you could have a studio. Lots of people have lots of different needs, we found when we put this particular plan together. So people who might have dietary requirements and need to store their food particularly, people who have got medicines, and actually we thought it was going to be a really good idea for international students, but lots of UK-based students find that flexibility, that they can manage their particular needs as well, is really popular. And that literally is 2 minutes walk off campus as well.
And I just want to mention that Jan Stubbs in the chat is giving you a massive shout out, Ben, saying accommodation at Lincoln Uni is fantastic. all very close to the uni, could literally fall out of bed and into lectures with Signet Court. And obviously that's a big accolade for you as well, Ben.
Thank you. Yes, and if students still like to fall out of bed and go into their classes, that's okay. Because 179 High Street, which I didn't mention, is right next door to our Sarah Swift building as well. So this is close to Bridge House and Alfred Tennyson building. Sarah Swift is next door to 179 High Street. One that's a little bit further away, but we have to walk past Morrison's, next door to Asda Living, and lots of other retail outlets, is Valentine Court. Valentine Court is in its second year of operation this year, is a student housing development rather than a hall of residence in the sky, if you like, and therefore they're 6-bedroom houses in the main. And there are some larger houses, but these 6-bedroom houses are in little courtyards, and they're really attractive, and they worked really well this year and very popular with students. Just if there's anything that I'm saying right now, I mean, our team are on the Slido as well, if there's any questions that they want to pick up, but emailing us at accommodation@lincoln.ac.uk, or our resource page, which is https, Darren will get that right for me, won't he? Accommodation.lincoln.ac.uk will give you lots of photographs of these locations.
That is brilliant. Before we move on, can I just take the question on the side? It's one for Emma, really. It's from Cara. And Cara's asking, is there anywhere we can go if we have an online lecture straight before a face-to-face lecture? So it's really, Emma, they're asking about all the fabulous places we've got on campus.
Yeah, absolutely. We will very shortly be moving across to have a chat with Marvin, and Marvin is in our library. And you'll be able to see how we've got the library set up very safely for our students to enable students to study there, independent study. So like you say, when you've not got a face-to-face lecture. Also, there are
Chris.
and loads of social things. We are going to literally we will come back to you, Cara, and we will come back to you, Ben, in about 2 minutes, if that's all right. We're just going to take a very slight pause because we have a very, very, very special guest with us who has decided to join us, which on our open day, which we are delighted with. So, Ellie, do you want to introduce Chris?
Well, I'm absolutely delighted to see you. Professor Chris Packham, visiting professor at the University of Lincoln. As per usual, you are off having some kind of adventure, Indiana Jones style, and I understand you're filming eagles. Chris, what are you up to today?
Yes, good morning, Ellie. Good morning, everyone. I'm on the Isle of Wight at the moment, and the sun is shining after a week of rain, as you can see. And I'm here with the Roy Dennis Wildlife Foundation and the BBC, and we're making a film about the reintroduction of white-tailed eagles on the Isle of Wight by the foundation, and it's for Autumn Watch. And I'll spill the beans because you won't want to wait a couple of weeks to see the results of our labours, and that is that the project's going extremely well. So this is the second year that the eagles have been reintroduced, translocated from Scotland down here to the island. The birds are all satellite tagged, so we know where they are, but I can tell you precisely where they are at the moment. They're about 5 miles in this direction, sat around the feeding station, which is supplementing their diet whilst they're finding their feet in the world, as it were, finding their wings in the world. And this morning I had the extraordinary privilege of standing about 150 meters away from 3 of these young white-tailed eagles that were released earlier this year. They've been out for about a month and a half, and they are still coming back for food first thing in the morning. They were flying around over our heads in beautiful dawn light. So I'm one of the happiest ornithologists in Britain this morning. I can't always take that crown, but this morning I'll wear it happily. Not due to my ornithological skills, but due to the testament of the Roy Dennis Wildlife Foundation. Tim Mackerel is here with Steve, and they've been doing a remarkable job with these birds.
That does sound amazing, Chris. I mean, often we've brought groups of students to join you when you're doing your Spring Watch filming, and it's a real shame we haven't been able to do that this year. But maybe you could explain a little bit some of the things you've done with students at Lincoln and why you chose to get involved.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only standing here having this conversation with you all this morning because I went to university. I didn't attend Lincoln. I went to Southampton University way back in the 1980s to do my zoology degree. And I'd been a lifelong naturalist with a great passion for wildlife. But my formal academic education allowed me to put all of that stuff into context and provided me with a platform which I still, in some ways rest upon. I've not stopped reading, not stopped learning. I'm working with people who know more about these birds than I do this morning. Life for me is a learning experience. But my university education was incredibly important, and I've always been therefore very keen to encourage other young people, particularly young scientists, of course, to take that opportunity. Lincoln University is I won't say it's up and coming because it's already there, but it's a very fresh, vibrant university. Lots of developments taking place in terms of the expansion of the campus and the work that it's doing. Comes very highly ranked as a student experience. Beautiful town, of course, Lincoln. But I think, for me, it's about the feel of the place. The feel of the place is one of open discussion, acceptance of new ideas, of progress, of modernism. I mean, every time I visit, I think, God, I wish I was of student age now and I could go back to I find a good excuse to go back to university, because Lincoln is a university that I would choose without a shred of a doubt. And in terms of the students, I mean, I've done everything I can to try and, when I've been visiting, to stimulate their enthusiasm for the natural world and develop a better understanding of it. And the School of Natural Sciences has got some great lecturers, teachers and researchers there. And so drawing upon their, assistance and relating to their work, we've run a number of projects over the last 5 to 10 years, and seen some students going through. The most heartening thing is that on occasion I meet people who have been to the university and they say, "Oh, we met you. You came along," and I sort of, yeah, I did, and now we're doing this and that and the other, which is really, really encouraging. So that's always a good sign.
I couldn't believe it when we came to Springwatch and it turned out the director was one of our alumnus. That was a bit, I think that was Tom. I don't know if you remember, Chris, but he was amazing. And again, sorry.
No, go on, carry on, sorry.
Well, you've inspired so many people. And one of the things we wanted to ask you is what your top tips would be for anyone watching, any young people who are thinking about a career in conservation and in trying to make a difference, especially at this really, really challenging time.
Well, I think if I'm talking to young people of, undergraduate age or lower, it's, find your voice. We need to hear your voice. People like myself like your voices. We like your youth. We like your ambition. We like your energy. We like your forthright opinions. Yours is tomorrow's world. And you deserve to have a healthy and sustainable world to live in. I'm afraid to say that despite my endeavours and that's of my colleagues and everyone else who's working here this morning for sure, and in many other places, we largely have failed you. And on our watch, the world has become a worse place for wildlife, and in some ways a worse place for humans too. And as a consequence of that, we're all getting up earlier and doing our very best to fix as many problems as possible. But I'm afraid to say you will inherit some of them. So the sooner you start to stand up and say, that you want to say in your future, and that future is obviously integrally linked to the health of our planet, then the better. So I would say be a peaceful, democratic, thoughtful activist. But to be an activist, you need to have, as I've already mentioned, a firm foundation to stand on. And a firm foundation of a good education is certainly a platform that you should aspire to. So I think, as much as students are struggling, as we're all struggling in these COVID times, I think that making sure that you make the most out of your university experience in terms of the education, as well as all of the other aspects which are important, should be in the very near future a real asset to you. Because we've come to the point of realization that our planet is in a dire predicament, and we're going to need people to fix it. And I think students of natural sciences are going to be those people. In the past, we've seen enormous efforts going into engineering and all sorts of other practical developments, you might argue. But I think now people who understand the natural world, agriculture, forestry, wildlife management, so on and so forth, their skills will be very much in demand in the very near future, when the rest of that world wakes up and realizes that we've got to fix it. So invest in your education as much as you possibly can.
And I've seen you give some really good lectures to our film and TV students as well, Chris, and you've given really good tips for how to get ahead in industry and how to be successful. One of the things that really impressed me that you said and has stayed with me, although it was always very simple, was to be kind and always carry the heavy equipment.
I've just put the tripod down. I've literally just carried it down through the woods. They tried to take it from me, but I wouldn't let them. I told them it was the only decent job I was going to be doing today. Only fool can stand here and enthuse about eagles, but someone's got to carry that heavy tripod. And you're absolutely right, Ellie. I mean, if you're part of a team, you need to be a functional part of that team. And I am only part of a team as much as everyone else is. So we all take our roles as seriously as possible. Be a pleasure to work with in whatever job you do. And then other people will want to work with you and continue to work with you, And if you're a freelancer like myself, then that's where the next job's coming from. And I think also, working hard is really important. I mean, I don't want to get the violins out there now, but I had 3.5 hours sleep last night. I got up this morning at 4 o'clock to get on a ferry to come here. I've got my reward. My reward was seeing those eagles flying around, and also the privilege of being able to communicate my enthusiasm for that moment to a wider audience. So an alarm clock is an essential piece of equipment, probably the most essential piece of equipment from anyone from undergraduate age onwards. Get up, get to those lectures if you're having them, get on with those online tutorials if that's where you're at the moment. But most of all, make sure you set that alarm to get out here in the wild world, because that's where the real action is.
I think that's such good advice. Get up and don't miss life, because it's all going by, and don't miss it. I've got 2 more questions for you, and then I'll see if Emma's got one, but I've got 2 more. One is, what's your favourite thing to do in Lincoln? I mean, you're not renowned for being a socialite, but we have done a couple of things in Lincoln. And I wondered if you had a favourite that you could share with the people here.
Yeah, no, I'm not a terribly sociable person for various reasons, but I like human history because it helps give me context, personal and other. And so the cathedral is a remarkable edifice and extraordinarily beautiful. And on the 3 occasions that I've had time to go and look at the cathedral, I've always found it grounding, humbling, puts you in a place. When you think of this remarkable piece of architecture has been standing there all of that time, if those stones could talk, they tell us some fantastic stories. And I also, from even although I'm sort of fundamentally a scientist, I have a romantic side to me, and I like the idea of standing in those spaces where so many other people have stood and imagining their lives and what's happened to them. And that's something that you can instantly do as soon as you walk through the doors of that building and start breathing that historical air.
It is, especially with the Magna Carta, the Charter of the Forest being housed next door at the castle, and there's so much history here in Lincoln. You're spot on. And my last question, and this is for anyone a bit worried about leaving home to go to university, would you have any top tips, any advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, when you get to university, ask for help, because there are plenty of people there, if you are struggling with that experience, to help you. I think things have moved on tremendously since the 80s when I went to university. Firstly, I didn't ask for help, and I'm therefore not entirely sure any would have been forthcoming, not through negligence, but just through a sign of the times. So I think if you are away from home and you're struggling with any aspect of that living or educational experience, there are now teams of highly qualified people there to help you, to make sure that you stay in the education system and you prosper there. So I think the first thing is don't ever let problems stew. If you let a problem stew, it inevitably goes bitter, not sweet. So immediately reach out to people around you. And you'll find in Lincoln particularly, as we've done things in the past, I have Asperger's, it's a form of autism. We've done things with, with other people with autistic conditions there, and people are extraordinarily receptive to making sure that if you have any troubles and any difficulties, that they can be put to one side so you can concentrate on getting the very best out of your university experience. So don't wait, ask straight away, and you'll find people will be really helpful and forthcoming.
That's true. We do have a really great student support team here at Lincoln, and we support hundreds and hundreds of students every year. And Chris has made a series of videos for our WOW team to help those students as well. Emma, did you have any questions for Chris?
Yeah, mine really is, if you were a parent, which, you know, I think it's fair to say, all three of us are sort of that parent age.
You are a parent, Chris. Megan is an absolute star who gets involved as well with Lincoln, doing amazing things.
Yeah.
If you were a parent looking to sort of, you know, on this journey with looking for your student, your daughter, son or daughter to go to university next October, what advice would you give a parent, from a parent to a parent?
Well, I would say that you're no longer a child, but your offspring, you know, they need to be happy where they are. They need to be content, and therefore they need to be secure and productive, and so on and so forth. So I think it's very much about looking at that environment. It probably is worth making sure that they focus on trying to find a space which, you know, is better suited to them than maybe all of their friends. So it's not a question about following their friends, it's about following their own character and interest at that point. And of course, when they get to university, they'll make new friends anyway. So I would visit the town, visit the city, visit the campus, talk to the staff. I'd look, you know, because I have a keen interest in what's happening academically, I would look at what those staff have been doing with their careers, which papers they've been publishing, which fields of research they're interested in, which of those are really prospering at the university at that time, because obviously over periods of time, you know, the focus of any particular department changes as its staff change. So if you're, you know, your offspring have keen interest in one particular branch of the natural sciences, then you want to find the university that's doing, you know, the best research in that field at this point in time. So I guess what I'm saying is, across all parts of the student experience, research is absolutely key, and nothing beats first-hand research. So try and, you know, visit the area for as long as possible. I mean, I would go and stay for a weekend, you know, in Lincoln and get out and about. I'd go and breathe that historical air in the cathedral. I'd walk the streets. I'd look at the shape of the town. I'd think about access by rail and road and whatever. And then I'd go to the campus and get a feel for what it's like, and then try and meet some of the fellows, you know, the students that are already there, and the staff to get their opinion too. And all of that's available. I mean, that's all part and parcel of the way that Lincoln University's prospectus works these days. So take advantage of it. Don't shop randomly. Go and get a feel for what it's really like. I'm going to have to sign off, Ellie and Emma, because one, my arm is aching, and two, my team is standing here, and I can see a man pointing into the distance, and I feel that he might be pointing at something interesting.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Chris. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We love seeing you. We'll see you soon in Lincoln, 25th of November. We'll see you again. And take care. Have a super day on the Isle of Wight.
Thanks, Ellie.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. See ya. Bye.
Oh, he's such a star, isn't he, Emma?
It's great advice. Some really, really good advice for students and parents, I thought, as well. Really good, Ellie. Yeah.
It really was. And he's so interesting. He knows so much. I love those lectures he does. The ones on the dinosaurs especially. But yeah, he is an absolute legend. And it's good to have him here. Now, there are loads of questions coming in down the side, but should we bring Ben back, Emma?
I think so, yeah, if Ben can come back, and we'll just catch up, Ben, because I think we've got a few questions that were on the side anyway. There was one from Lauren Rose, and we've had so many questions sort of since then. I can't see it now on my screen, unfortunately, but maybe if Darren can sort of find it. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, the cupboards and space, you can see the cupboards and space here, full length mirror in this particular one. I'm sat at a desk with a desk surface with tables, and this is the fitted wardrobe here, desk space. But if you go to accommodation.lincoln.ac.uk, you see lots of images of all of our rooms and all of those kind of things. That one.
Yeah, and I think there was one, you may have picked up on one already, Ben, but there was one about guaranteed accommodation, I think I saw, and I can't, brilliant, thank you. Thanks, Darren.
The university has an accommodation guarantee, which is about accepting the university course and making an application by the 30th of June 2021, and then you would be guaranteed hall style accommodation. Not necessarily a particular hall, but certainly in hall style accommodation. And as we've said, most everything is close by. I stopped at Valentine Court. We didn't get to talk about St Mark's Student Village, which is sort of just across the road from the gateway and is absolutely a stone's throw away from the university, where we will be opening up over this next year or so around about 1,300 new ensuite bedrooms in apartments of 6, 7, 8 to 12 rooms. A couple of the ones that I saw go through, value accommodation changes as it goes through, but there's a fees guides off our main university website. It's about £120 a week, but there's no advance payment to make, which was another question I saw come through. There are, in most other locations, there is an advance payment to make, be a deposit or a securing payment. Car parking at Lincoln is always a very, very challenging question, but we are in the centre of the city. As a university, I've just told you everything is generally 10 to 15 minutes walk away. So lots of the authorities don't think a student needs a vehicle to be a student. Lots of people like to have a car with them, but sometimes you may need to find your own car parking solution. Valentine Court has some car parking facilities, but we do prioritise that for some of our healthcare students who go on placement, paramedic and nursing students in that sense. Another one that I went through was about healthcare students. Yeah. So we don't say that any building is not available to healthcare students, but healthcare students usually have a longer academic program. So our on-campus accommodation is 40 weeks. Most of those academic programs are 45, 46 weeks for healthcare students. But we've got the Gateway, we've got Valentine Court, which are running at 46 weeks, and therefore there are options that will cover that academic period.
There's a few questions about, I think, really the process of applying for accommodation. I think would probably answer a few different questions that I've seen, really. Sort of how do they apply and how do they get allocated, really? I think that's basically what people are sort of trying to think at this moment.
So application, once you've confirmed the university is a firm choice, you would be entering into the accommodation booking system. It would send you an email to say, welcome, congratulations, and this is what you need to do next. A lot of this walkthrough is on that information site that I mentioned, accommodation.lincoln.ac.uk. There's 1 or 2 pages that actually walk you through that whole process. We then hold the applications till generally around about the A-level results, so we can do a second validation check that everybody is still coming, and then we go out to allocation and offer in the first instance once people have accepted. When people get an offer of accommodation, to try and pick up another question, that's when people could ask for a share request, as we call it. I have a friend coming, can I be in the same building? Could I be in the same apartment? Can I have a room that is that side of the building or the other side of the building? And whilst we try and solve as many of those as we can't promise to cover 100%, but you do get the opportunity to ask. We do have single gender apartments if people want to be in a single gender apartment. Our standard is to have mixed gender, but there is an option on the application form to say if you would prefer single gender accommodation, and then we would work an allocation around that.
Fabulous. There's a question from JS about essential to have a car coming to study paramedic. I think that's where you as a team would be able to sort of assist with the right accommodation for those healthcare subjects, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the question is probably more posed at the course. So while we know that paramedics often need a vehicle because of the placements that they would get, which would not always be in a city centre with easy transport links. That's why we've tried to create an accommodation option that has a priority car parking option for paramedic and nursing students who go through that experience as part of the course. So I think the first question is best aimed at the course to say, do I need one? And if you do need one, then Valentine Court is a good option for you in that respect.
And what I would suggest, JS, is to go onto our Slido chat, where there will be somebody from the School of Health and Social Care that can actually answer that question directly to you. And when you, this afternoon between 12 and 2, there will be sort of those sort of discussions as part of the offer to do with the subject areas. So that's what I would advise for that one.
And to get onto the Slido chat, follow that link below that producer Darren's put up, so you can find that. There are a couple of other questions. There was one from Wendy Jane that said, does it make a difference, Ben, if you apply very early as to which choice accommodation you get?
It does a little, because choice can be reduced. So we do take an approach that a building can only hold so many people. So as I spoke to you, here I am in Cygnet Wharf, 442 rooms. We do take a view that having 4,000 applications is not always practical. So choice later on in the process can certainly change. But for coming in 2021 and behind, we're going to have in excess of 3,500 bedrooms, of which probably 3,400 are going to be en suite. Which is the two popular choices that people put together. Close to campus and en-suite today are those two main choices that I would say is the most popular.
No, that's brilliant, isn't it? Emma, any final questions for Ben?
I've got one final question for you, Ben, because I know you've got an incredibly hectic weekend and a very long day still ahead of you. But what is when you can have a break from work, what is your most favourite thing to do around Lincoln?
I like to walk around the Brayford Pool, which is just behind Ellie. And it's just a nice walk. It's a really great view of the university from the other bank that you can see, again, behind Ellie. And it's quite a nice, relaxing walk, just being on the side of the Brayford, seeing all of that wildlife, seeing the university, for those of us who have been here for a little while, as it's grown up, and thinking that building wasn't there a few years ago, and all of those developments, and seeing that's one of my best things to do.
I think we all love that. I mean, I mentioned earlier the otters and the ducks, and I don't know if you could hear them quacking when Chris Packham was on. It's like they knew he was there. And there's also the teepee down there now. We've put 2 teepees up on campus to maximise the outdoor space, and they really look amazing, especially at night. They're all lit up. It's really magical. It's a really, really magical place to be. So a huge thank you to Ben. It's been such a delight to see you, and you are such an amazing man. You support all of our students so well. Thank you for making time for us today, and you have a good day. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody watching. If you need us, accommodation@lincoln.ac.uk. Okay, thank you.
And on the Slido chat, please ask the questions, because I know we've not answered absolutely every question. Yes, there is good Wi-Fi is one of the questions, but there is, please ask, because Ben's team are on the answering this morning
on the questions
even. Yeah. Well, they will answer your questions.
I'm going to pick up on Billy Ellis. Billy's asked 2 questions actually. He's asked, what if his predicted grades are reduced? Will he still get a place? And the best thing to do is to ring the admissions team or talk to the admissions teams today on the Q&A. And we haven't mentioned it much, but you can also talk to our students today on Unibuddy. So again, from that main virtual open day page, you can go in and talk to some students and find out what they say, rather than just what me and Emma say, because we recognise we are a little bit older than perhaps you might be. And Billy has asked, though, are there many places to go for a drink or a night out in Lincoln? There are so many places to go, Billy. behind me, you're on the waterfront. There's a whole range of amazing places. There's cocktail bars. The Students' Union has got a barge, which is a cocktail bar. There's old Prezzo's, Nando's. What's the big one called? Sorry. Yeah. And then as you go up the hill, there's all sorts of other places. There's a cinema. There's quite a few nightclubs if that's your interest. And obviously things at the moment are as they are, but who knows where we'll be next year. But there is a lot to do, and on campus there's just loads to do, isn't there? And that's probably a good time to go to Amina, because we're hoping that she is going to show you some of those things as part of our chat. So good question, Billy. Thank you. Hi, Amina.
Hi, Ellie and Emma.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, we're really good. We're really good. We absolutely love this time of year. We love it when the students move in. It's so exciting. It's kind of what it's all about for us. It's a whole new generation who are going to go out there and change the world, which is really, really nice. And so tell us a bit about you, Amina. Tell us about the Students' Union. Tell us where you are, what you're doing, and what's going on at the moment.
So my name is Amina, and I'm the Vice President International at Lincoln Students' Union. So at the Students' Union is basically an independent organization separate from the university that represents academic interests and makes students have a better experience while they are here at the university. And we have 5 student leaders that are elected by students, which I am part of. The other 4 are Bailey, who is Vice President, Campaigns and Environment. We have Lucy, who is Vice President, Wellbeing and Community. We have Abby, who is Vice President for Activities. And we have Georgia, who is Vice President for Education. So all 5 of us represent you students because you elected us. And we always try to make sure we get in touch with as much students as we can. So this time of the year, like you said, is a great time to have students on campus where we are able to go talk to them and get some feedback from them, just so we can make their experience better while they are here.
And you guys have got so much energy. It's amazing. You absolutely blow us away. The stuff you do is brilliant. I mean, do you mind saying how many sort of sports and societies you've got, and just some of the things that are going on for Freshers Week, just to give people a sense of the experience, what it's like?
So we have over 150 sports and societies, which includes netball, badminton, postgraduate association, business students association, MedSoc, just so much that you can name. You can think of, and you can find lots of this information about our sports and societies at lincolnsu.com. Just go in there, look for something that you have interest in or something that you want to try newly. And the good thing about our sports and societies is if you don't find anything that you have any interest in, you can actually create one. So, and start something new. Basically, we are here to help students become activists and also strive for positive change while they are here. And regarding events that we have for Welcome Week, we have so much. Yesterday, we had a cinema day, which we aired Shrek 1. I don't know if any of you have seen it before, but it was quite good. And the beauty about our cinema days is while you're in the cinema, you can order food and drinks from our venue, which is Towers, and cinema is being held in the engine shed. So you could just see students ordering food and drinks and having a really good time. Thanks to the student orders app that we have, makes it easier for students to just order, get drinks and food served to their table. And if you're a student living within 3 miles of campus as well, you are able to use this app and then just enjoy your time while you're here.
It does sound super fun. Amina, before we do our little tour, can you tell us a little bit about why you chose Lincoln and how you ended up coming here?
When I was considering which universities to go to, I wanted something that wasn't necessarily in London. and was out of London because of peace and quiet. And Lincoln happened to be one of the cities that came across as small, nice, and beautiful, looking at some of the things you can do within the community and like the things that you can also do while you're at uni. Like right now, the services that we have available for students at the Students' Union and the university was like one of the reasons that I had to consider. And I know early on a student asked about working opportunities, and I was supposed to talk a bit about it. So the fact that you get volunteering, lots and lots of volunteering opportunities within the SU and the university was quite exciting and nice for a student traveling all the way abroad to come here. So if you're looking to come into Lincoln, there are lots of volunteering opportunities for you. And at the SU, we actually have student staff. So it might be something you would be interested in. So all the student staff work within all our student union venues, which are Towers, the Swan, and the Barge.
And the engine shed.
And the engine shed.
Which is a massive venue. I mean, you've got some massive comedian playing there. Is that Saturday? Oh, was that last night? Was it Russell Kane last night?
Next week.
Next week. And he's doing 3 shows, so we can do, so you can do a socially distanced. We do a lot together, don't we, Amina? We support each other very much, which is fabulous.
Yeah, the student union and the university work in partnership to just make sure everyone has a really good experience while they are here. And the good thing about the engine shed this year is the fact that we can use it as a social learning environment. So if you happen to be hopping between one lecture to the other or waiting and you don't want to be in the library, you can just pop into the engine shed, set up your computer and just chill, do some work, hang out with your course mates, and then get ready for lectures. So Engine Shed is doing so many things this year.
It is brilliant. It is.
One of the questions we had earlier, Amelia, wasn't it? So that's really great.
Yeah.
It was. I'm going to ask you, Amina, if you don't mind taking your laptop outside and showing us what's outside, because I know we can see the library directly behind you, but if you don't mind attempting to give us a tour.
So as you can see, we have students walking around campus, and I am going to take you on a quick tour around campus. So Ellie probably will just be telling you while I'm walking out the places that you'll be seeing.
Yeah, me and Emma will pick that up. Thank you, Amina. We've never done this before. This is a first. We've wanted to give a tour, haven't we, Emma?
We have, and shall we tell everybody how this came about, Ellie? When we had a little test run in the week, poor old Amina was sort of sat in that office and there was a fire alarm that went off. So it happened by chance, but we liked it so much and we thought this was a really good way of you as a viewer being able to see the campus, because we would love you. I thank you, Freya, for your question. We would really desperately love you to be on campus today to see this in person, but this is as close as I think we can get as a real-time sort of tour of the campus.
And what you can see actually is just Amina's just walking through the Students' Union office. So she's coming through the SU office where all of those sabbaticals live and work. And now she's coming down the engine shed steps. So there's the platform, which is another venue upstairs. And then there's the towers downstairs and the engine shed, which is a massive venue, isn't it, Emma?
It really is, yeah. I mean, we've hosted some incredible acts there over the years. So many, sort of certainly some that parents and students would both want to see. Now we're at the reception, and that's wow, look at that. That looks incredible this morning. This is Towers. So this is the Towers bar. And as Amina mentioned, this is exactly where you can get your lunch, your snacks, and through your student app, then get your food and drinks ordered there. That's amazing.
It is making me really hungry just to see it, actually, Emma. I'm so hungry. Well. And they do lovely tacos and Oh, I love those tacos. Sorry, Emma, back to you.
Yeah, that's fine. And that is the entrance to the engine shed. So as Amina was sort of mentioning earlier,
Push the door, Amina.
loads and loads of, if you go onto their social media, so what you must do before you finish today is get onto their Instagram, get onto their Facebook sites and see everything that's happening this year. Follow that journey. And they've got sort of big picnic tables that are socially distanced that you can work. Oh, there we go.
Emma, look at this. We're going into the engine shed. This is the best venue in Lincoln. It's absolutely huge. I don't know if you get a sense of that. Normally on a Wednesday night, Quack is on and all sorts of things. I'm looking at a picture in the VC's office actually of a sort of a phone party, which is on the wall, but which happened here. And various bands and comedians from Reg Hunter to, God, I'm trying to think who else has been there. I mean, it's just everyone, isn't it?
But I know they're doing big quizzes in there. I think there might be a big quiz tonight in there. Amina can sort of correct me if I'm wrong. And they are, and that's literally where Amina was sort of saying, sort of over the next week, students can use that as study.
Oh, wow.
And it's,
look at that. That's brilliant.
Brilliantly sort of signposted. So everybody can be very safe in there as well. And
you sit within your household bubble, so you within the rule of 6, which is really exciting. Amina, you are doing such a good job. I tell you, it does look really good. We didn't try this in our practice. We just went outside, didn't we, Emma?
We did, but that gives a real. I hope that sort of shows you exactly. I mean, that's amazing because that really does show you exactly the size of it. Perfect sanitized station there as you go in, everywhere on campus. I know there's been lots of sort of COVID type questions this morning, but there is absolutely sanitized stations everywhere you go. Everywhere there's sort of, in where I am now, there's sort of sanitized stations here. There's sort of paper so you can wipe things down. Right, Amina, you are outside now. Go for it. Tell us what we can.
Yes, I am. So right now I'm just in between the library and the Students' Union. So this is the library.
Wow.
If Marvin can see us, he probably can give us.
Marvin needs to give us a wave. We're going to see Marvin very shortly.
Oh, there's the engineering school down there.
We have TPs here.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, can you see that, Emma? Can you see the TP?
I can see the TPs and I can see the back of the Isaac Newton building, which is where I am.
Our LPAC Theatre, where we have again a venue where you see a range of shows, comedians. It's where the students prepare their Edinburgh Fringe shows. It's a wonderful 450 seat theatre. Sorry, Amina, you tell us what you can see, sweetheart. Me and Emma will shut up for a minute.
Exactly. So right now, as you can see, there are so many families and students moving in. So there are trolleys going up and down. Yes, we have the TPs. It's open now, so if you are on campus, you can always come in. And the TPs is there to also act as a social space for students, which is just beside the library. And that's the whole building of the Students' Union. We are on campus handing out free goodie bags. So the good thing about moving day and being in Lincoln. So if Lincoln is your choice and you're moving in, there's so much to get, so much to do while you are here. And when Ellie asked earlier on some of the things the Students' Union does, we have an advice center right here, which you can walk in or you can by pre-booking or accessing the services online. And we have a new cycling scheme. So
wow.
This is happening on Monday when we launch it. So you may want to look into that. So yeah, this is us representing the academic interest, and that's Kaylee waving, if you can see it. One of our staff, and you can see some of the student leaders and the staff here handing out free goodie bags. So much
that's
to do.
Brilliant. Can you go a little bit closer to the TPs, Amina? Do you mind taking us a little bit in that direction?
Yes, I can.
Oh, you are an angel.
And this is Lucy. She's one of the student leaders. She's the
Hi, Lucy.
for well-being and community.
Nice to see you. Bless her. Oh, and there's a dancing inflatable man there. That's the thing about our campus, Emma. You never know quite what you're going to see, do you?
You certainly don't. But that looks amazing today because there is a bit of wind as well, so it's amazing.
Oh, there's Zing Cafe, which does really nice cappuccino. Oh, what's that? Amina, what's that? I can't see what that is.
Is that the food? Is that a coffee truck that's there? And the teepees, is it? The entrance to the teepees?
Amina, you've turned your volume off, I'm afraid. And there's our School of Arts. Hi, Amina. Amina, can you tell us what's your favourite thing to do in Lincoln?
I think with Lincoln, it will be going for walks because there are so many parks that you can visit while you're here in Lincoln. The Arboretum, the West Common, just so much. So I just enjoy walking on a beautiful day, taking pictures. So if you're a student who likes to take pictures and share with family, Lincoln is the place to be. Definitely, you just walk and you can walk all the way through the high street, visit the shops, and just enjoy a day. So this is the entrance to the teepee.
That does look amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Have you been in it yet, Amina?
Not yet.
No, me and Emma keep saying we're going to go and get a hot chocolate. But
yeah, and behind me are some buildings within the university. So
So lovely.
That is amazing. Can I just ask? Sorry, Emma.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if anybody watching has sort of friends or family that are actually moving in today on Sunday, then please sort of let them know all of the things that are here because they might not see them if they don't walk past.
I think my last question for Amina, I'm hoping you can hear me, Amina. You're doing a fantastic job of showing us the campus, which does look amazing on this very sunny day. But have you enjoyed your time here, Amina, at the university?
Yes, I have. I mean, it's probably one of the reasons why I still had to remain. I didn't tell you earlier, I studied accounting and finance, which I finished in February. And because of how much I enjoyed staying here during my time of study, I decided to stay back by getting into this job. And here I am, giving you a 360 tour of Lincoln and hoping that you come here, join me. And yeah, we have food markets happening as well. So all this is part of the Welcome Week events that we have this week for students. So much to do during your time of study here. And there you go.
It does look brilliant. Now, Wendy Jane has asked if we can go into the LPAC. I would be amazed if the main theatre was unlocked because we haven't arranged to unlock it. So probably not. But the LPAC does a range mainly of live theatre because obviously we've got a massive drama and music cohorts of undergraduate degrees here and societies. And we do put on a full range of shows throughout the year covering Shakespeare. As I said, Edinburgh Fringe. We normally do a sort of a Christmas show. It's constantly got shows on, and a lot of those are student shows, and quite a few are visitors as well. We do regular Friday night jazz, things like that. It's the thing you find at Lincoln is you are never bored. You're never short of something to do. Oh, well done. Amina, do you want to tell us where you are?
So I'm just standing on a bridge on campus where the Brayford runs through. And usually when the weather is to see people kayaking, and we also have a kayaking society. So if you love to take part in this type of sport, then you know definitely that you have to be here in Lincoln. As you can see, some people are enjoying the weather. The weather seems to be quite amazing today. And from this, from this point that you stand, I don't know, Ellie, if you've seen that when most students graduate, they actually take pictures of their thesis here. They just stand here and take a picture because then it gives you the backdrop of the cathedral.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It is beautiful, although it does sound like someone's stealing a shopping trolley next to you. And yeah, and behind you actually was the business school. And Ed, I think, has just pointed out that we showed the business school behind Amina there, which is the home of Ed and all the other staff at Lincoln International Business School, probably the best business school in the world, in my humble opinion. It's a fantastic place and lots and lots going on there. Oh, there it is. Amina's pointing at it for us.
And next door to that is the Sarah Swift building, which I think, and 179 High Street, which we talked about when we were chatting to Ben. So I think that's amazing, Amina, because it just shows how close the proximity is. It's so difficult to sort of say a 2-minute walk and people go, oh yeah, but actually it genuinely is a 2-minute walk.
And Aidan's asking if there's a place for students to perform music, and I have to say, normally at the open days we have students performing in all the different places where we have our events going on for open days, and students perform in the engine shed, in the tower bar, wherever really. If you're interested, we're really keen. And actually we should mention that on the 27th of October we're doing an event with Wes Nelson, previous Love Islander, and I believe at the top of the charts at the moment with his, though I'm so old, I feel so out of it, but he'll be talking to some of our academics, including, I think, Craig Bratley, who's very well known in the music industry as well, and talking about how to get a career started. So that's one to look out for, Aidan, if you're interested in music. Emma, it's probably time for us to leave Amina because we've overrun horribly. But I have to say, Amina, you really are the best. You're just amazing.
You are.
Thank you. It was good to have me here, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day and everyone watching. Thank you.
You're an absolute star, Amina. Thank you. Please do it again for us next time.
Okay.
We've got a busy week ahead, welcoming those students in.
Thank you so much.
No, that's great. Thank you. Emma, I think over to you.
It is, and we're going over to Catherine. So Catherine Turner, we are going to talk funding now. So Catherine, do you want to explain your role at the university?
Sure. Hello, everybody. My name's Catherine. I am the Advice Service Manager at the University of Lincoln, and the Advice Service is part of the Student Support Centre provision, and we advise on lots and lots of things, but today, most importantly, one of our areas of expertise is all areas of student funding.
It certainly is. So can we kick off? Obviously, people watching will be looking to apply for 2021. Do you want to briefly just point people in the direction of how on earth do they sort of, it's all so exciting. You watch Amina and why would you not want to be coming to university to study at Lincoln? Of course you do. But how do we go about funding a student in order to do that?
Yes, absolutely. So first of all your funding, your student loan, comes from Student Finance, England, Scotland, Ireland or Wales, and you apply on the DirectGov website. And obviously you apply in the country that you actually live in to get your funding. And it doesn't matter which university you go to. If you're coming to Lincoln, you just apply to Student Finance England to get your application rolling.
Absolutely. And when can people apply for that? Can they apply today or?
Not just yet. The applications usually open around the middle of February, before you come. So if you're coming in October next year, 2021, you need to start looking at applying in February 2021. That's when the applications will go live on the DirectGov website, and you'll be able to see that they're for students starting in October 2021. 22, that's the academic year that you'll be looking at applying for.
And what if a student is local and they're from Lincoln? Can they, they want to come to the University of Lincoln, but they will stay at home with mum and dad, or can they still apply for funding?
Absolutely, they can. Now, the funding is split into two categories. So it's one student loan that you'll get, but you get one amount that's called the tuition fee loan, and that's the amount that's going to pay the university your tuition fee. So you apply for it and it's paid directly to the university. You don't need to worry about making those payments, but you apply for it as part of your student loan. And then there's a maintenance element, so the amount of money that you get to live on, to pay for your accommodation, your books, your food, any travel, anything like that. And there's a slight difference in how much you get depending on whether you stay at home at your parents' house or whether you are living in your own student accommodation. But the loan is the same application process. It's just you say where you're going to be living, and then they will make the assessment based on that information as well.
What if there's somebody that has done a year elsewhere, but actually they decide, you know what, actually I want to come home to Lincoln but still study at Lincoln? Can that happen?
It can happen. There are some rules in student finance can be quite complicated. So my advice is going to be, if you've studied somewhere else before, don't worry, but make sure you ask some questions right now, so that you can make sure that you understand exactly what that might mean to your student finance. And as it happens, we have a specialist funding advisor on the Slido on the chat. So if you do have any questions, then if you pop a little question in there, they'll be able to at least guide you, and they might want to talk to you separately. But don't worry about it. Just make sure you ask lots and lots of questions to make sure that everything's going to be okay for funding whatever it is you want to do.
Talking of questions, Catherine and Emma, there are two really good questions in the sidebar there. Ethan Pickles says, if I'm coming from America, so hello, Ethan, it's lovely to meet you. Do I apply through the US or do I have access to the UK loan programme?
That's a brilliant question. To apply to the UK, you must be a UK national. There are some subtle differences, but generally speaking, you must be a UK national to get funding from the UK government. As an American student, then you are probably going to be eligible for American student loans, and we do actually assist in administering those as well. And you can drop us an email and we can definitely point you in the right direction. But no, American national, you would apply to America. UK national, apply to the UK.
That's amazing. You are amazing, Catherine. You do amaze me, your knowledge. I've got another one, and I'm sorry about this because this might be a hard one. Eve Herrick says, hello, Eve. I will be applying as a student who owns their own home. What am I entitled to? And well done, Eve.
Yeah, no, that is a brilliant question. If you're living in your own home, then you are entitled to apply for student finance, provided you meet all the other eligibility criteria. Owning your home wouldn't prevent you getting any student finance. And if you're living in your own home rather than your parents' home, you would get the same rate as somebody who was coming to live in student accommodation.
That's good. And Emma Harvey, really good question, Emma. This is something I'd be asking too. Can mature students still apply for maintenance grants?
Absolutely, provided you don't already have a degree and you don't have all the previous studies. But if you've never been to university before, you are absolutely entitled to exactly the same funding as anyone else, as long as you're under 60.
And a really good question, and I don't know the answer to this one, but Lauren Rose, which is a lovely name, is there a calculator for the maintenance loan?
Oh, actually, I think there is a bit of a calculator for the maintenance loan. If you go onto the Direct.gov website, in their area of student finance, there's absolutely loads of tools and information. And in there is a calculator, but you do need to know what your household income is. So if you're applying based on your parents, you might need to have a quick chat with them before you fill that information in.
And there's one for you, Emma, here, Charlotte Dennis. Hello, Charlotte. Will the students doing A-level exams this year find it harder getting into uni due to the amount of students from last year deferring because of COVID?
That's a really good question, Charlotte, actually, and one that I think we've been asked quite a lot in the last sort of few weeks. I certainly know I was asked this week in a school. No, you shouldn't do, Charlotte. We are quite fortunate in that we are absolutely bombarded with students this year, thankfully. There's, I can sort of hear rumblings outside of lots and lots of students arriving, and when you're with Amina. So there is no reason why your opportunities will not be the same as any other year, Charlotte. So please don't let you feel as though that is hindering you at all. Please apply for 2021.
And Emma, did you have some more questions for Catherine?
Yes, just, I mean, what I have got is how the maintenance loan, sorry, like I'm going from like one question to another.
Sorry, I'm messing you about with loads of different questions. I'm so sorry, Emma.
The maintenance loan, you talked about the maintenance loan. So I understand that the tuition fee loan goes to the institution and the student would never see that, would they? But the maintenance loan obviously goes to the student. Now, that can be quite a substantial amount of money. Now, if I was a parent, I might be worried if that amount of money that could be sort of £4,000 or £5,000, do they get that literally as they enroll, or how do they receive that money?
That is actually incredibly important, particularly right now. You need to be planning for this right now, even start thinking about it. So what happens is, provided you've made your application on time and everything's completed, you'll enroll and arrive at university, and 3 to 5 working days after teaching starts, 1/3 of your student loan will be deposited in your bank account as a student. And as Emma said quite rightly, that can be quite a sizable amount of money. And you've got to make that last from then until you get your next instalment, which is going to be after Christmas in January. So it's really important to make your application as soon as possible, because again, that January payment's going to have to wait, make you last until April after Easter. So if you can make your applications as soon as possible and make sure that you know how much money you're going to have, you're going to be able to start thinking about your budget. And actually, it'll really help with some of the things that Ben spoke about earlier about choosing your accommodation and all of those things that you need to think about. Knowing how much money you're going to have is going to make planning for all of those things so much easier. I mean, you won't be worrying about money when actually what you really want to be doing is getting excited about the course you want to be going to do.
Absolutely. I think Ella, that might go some way to answering your question, really. So the student maintenance loan, which I think you're referring to, may or may not cover your accommodation costs, but that's why you need to do your research on the accommodation and see how the books balance almost, isn't it?
Yes, you really do, because when Student Finance do their assessment, they're going to do a personal assessment based on your personal circumstances, and it's really impossible to know exactly how much money you're going to get. So you kind of need to make sure you do that as soon as you possibly can, so you can get all those things in place to plan to make sure that everything's ready for when you're coming.
And I'm just going to pick up a couple of those questions down the side. So Ash says, can I open a bank account in the UK as an international student? Yes, Ash, you can. Probably when you arrive, our international team will give you loads of support in doing that, but you need proof of your identity, and you'll be supported in doing it. It's relatively easy.
I was just going to say, you'll be able to get a letter from the Student Support Centre as well, just to confirm everything once you get here, so you'll be able to open your bank account. Thanks, Catherine. That's a really good point. And Aidan's question, per term, roughly how much do we get to provide for our rent, food and other things? Now, I know you're asked this quite a lot, Catherine. Are you happy to take that one? Well, I can tell you that it could range between just over £1,000 and possibly £3,000 to £4,000, and that's as much as I can possibly say, because it all depends on what Student Finance England say your assessment will be.
That is a really good answer. And I've got to say a huge thanks to Diane Watts, who says, my daughter is just going into year 2. I wanted to pass on a huge endorsement of the university and all the support teams. Lincoln was always first choice, and it has earned that accolade. Keep up the fabulous work. Thanks, Diane. We really do all work really, really hard, and the student genuinely at Lincoln is at the heart of every single thing that we do, and we're really, really proud of that. And I mean, we just love it, really, don't we, guys? It's just fabulous. It's a good place to be.
We certainly do. And thank you to Jan Stubbs as well. I noticed she's sort of been reinforcing our Lincoln message quite a lot this morning as well. So thank you for that.
I know. I think we're going to need to get Jan in, aren't we?
I know. She can join my team. Have we got time just for one last question from Charlie before we go over to speak to Marvin? So Charlie Thorpe asked, is your maintenance loan affected by a part-time job at university?
Do you know what? No, it's one of the most brilliant things, in my opinion, about student finance. You applied student finance from the government. The government don't really want to know about students' wages. They don't take that into consideration at all. So that's always going to be in addition to your maintenance loan.
That's true. And lots of students come and work for us, don't they, Emma? We have hundreds of student ambassadors who join us and get involved in open days, Unibuddy, all of the amazing events we do with people like Chris Packham and Caroline Duffy and gosh, Andrew Graham Dixon, and just the amazing things we do, really. Now, a huge thank you to Catherine. You are such a wonderful, wonderful person who provides such good advice. And you're always so full of enthusiasm. Thank you for joining us. It's been a real pleasure to listen to you, so thank you. And we'll see you next time, probably. But if anyone's got any questions that we haven't answered, please do go to the Virtual Open Day page and go into the chat where you can chat with Catherine's team. And they can answer any specific questions. So, Ella, that's probably the best way to answer your question about the NHS contribution to the midwifery fee, if that's okay.
Most definitely.
Yeah, Helen is on there today, and she is absolutely the expert on any sort of health course and funding, isn't she, Catherine? So
she really is. You've got the right person today. Ask that question; she'll be able to deal with that, no problem.
And also answer your question, Aidan, on the scholarships that are available, or there is a scholarships page on the website that you can see. I'm going to move us on and say goodbye, Catherine. Thank you. It's always lovely to see you. Thank you. And we're going to say hello, Marvin. Marvin is an alumnus of the University of Lincoln. Hi, Marvin. How are you today?
I'm okay. Thank you very much. It's a really lovely day today, and really happy to be here.
It is. It's beautiful. And I'm really grateful to you for coming along. You're an alumnus of the university. So tell us a little bit about that, Marvin. What did you study and when? And did you enjoy it?
So I graduated 2017 and started 2014. And I studied business management. And honestly, it was, the start of something absolutely wonderful. So I'm from down near Essex, Colchester, and I came up to Lincoln, which was brilliant. Because
why did you choose Lincoln, Marvin? Because from all the way from Essex, it's very different.
Yeah, it's a few hours away, but it has everything you want from a city, but it has the greenery and the beautiful scenery around, and the cathedral, and as has been mentioned, several places where you could go for a walk and absolutely just enjoy the environment. And it's just that beautiful combination. And also, as a student, we all do all sorts of research, and we all look into all sorts of things. And it just, everything drew me here.
Now, Marvin, I've been lucky enough to get to know you quite well. So I know that although you do truly love the outdoors, this is true, that you also are known to like a little bit of social life. So would you say that as a student, there was a social life that you could enjoy, Marvin?
I can certainly say that Lincoln has so much to offer that the only way to describe it is that there's a boundless opportunity, but even a Love Islander gave Lincoln a gold stamp for its nice out.
Explain what you mean by that, because you interviewed Wes Nelson, didn't you, when he came last time?
So just want to say that Lincoln, with all its opportunities, really has given me the things, it's allowed me to do so much. But recently, I got the opportunity and chance to speak to the Love Islander, Wes Nelson, and talking to him about, what it's like to go somewhere new and what's like to make friends. And he gave some amazing advice on that. And you can still see that on the page. But one of the comments that definitely came through were that he had enjoyed a few nights here in Lincoln, and they were up to standard.
I understand that you and Wes are planning a night out in Lincoln. I mean, he was due to be coming here. I think it was the 27th of October, but we're doing an online event now because of the restrictions and social distancing for that one. But hopefully next year we'll be bringing Wes up for a music workshop, and I understand you're planning on a night out with Wes.
We'll show him what Lincoln's capable of.
So you've enjoyed it basically, which is really good. I am going to ask you about where you are at the moment.
So currently I am in what was a home away from home for me, the University of Lincoln's library. I think you got to see a bit of it earlier as Amina was walking around, but this is 4 award-winning floors of just everything that you could ask for when you come to university, from rooms and areas that isolate you so you can really sink your teeth into whatever you're doing, to rooms that you can book with massive screens and technology that can really get group work inspired and going. And the technology here was absolutely brilliant. And the thing I love about this place the most was during exam periods or towards the later end of the year, it becomes 24-hour access. And I don't know about how everyone else likes to study, but I am basically nocturnal. I will never be a morning person. But at 2 a.m., my inspiration was boundless, and that's when I did my best work. And so towards 6 a.m. when I was leaving, some of my friends would be coming in, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, no, that's good. And do you have any favourite moments from being a student, Marvin, that you can share with us?
Oh, there's countless of moments that I've enjoyed. I really wouldn't know where to. I guess, you know something, I'll go with. I was really nervous my first week at uni, just coming in, meeting everyone. I wasn't sure if you never know who you're going to get as housemates. And so when I walked in, I met everyone, and one person hadn't come yet, and it was quite nice. But then I think as the week went on, we went from nervous acquaintances to family, and we are still family now, and we're dotted all over the place. But reunions are brilliant, and like I really made friends for life, and they the experiences that I can and can't tell you were absolutely amazing.
And have you got any top tips for anyone thinking about going to university next year, Marvin? What kind of things should they be doing at the moment? You mentioned research earlier, but what sort of research should they be thinking about?
Oh, just make sure you keep on top of your finances and stuff like that. But one of the biggest tips I'd say is get involved, and go to the societies. Go and socialize with friends, really meet people, because that's, I think, and something, I think that's how you've grown up. We've all grown as people as well, and that's what I'd say. Go out there and meet everyone. Also, eat everywhere and drink everywhere.
We'd recommend the SU student app then, Marvin, just heading over to the towers later.
Absolutely, you'll find me there.
And we've got another alumnus actually in the chat. Hi to Topaz Reed. That's a really cool name. 2015 alumnus, studied biology, and Lincoln University was some of the best years of my life. Well, I'm really glad, Topaz. It's a fabulous place to go. Did you join any clubs and societies when you were here, Marvin?
I made friends with the Football Society, and I also went in a number of different things. I always dabbled. I was quite a what do you call it? A character while I was at uni, and I enjoyed it. But I met so many wonderful people through the different societies, and when societies came together as well, from Harry Potter to like, there were so many brilliant ones that
That's true. And Emma, have you got any questions for Marvin?
Just Marvin, what do you enjoy doing around Lincoln now, really? And also, what I don't think we've sort of course, me and Ellie know you so well, but what did you study whilst you were here?
So I studied business and management while I was here, and undergraduate, and it was amazing, and I enjoyed it so much because it's also, I met tons of people with similar minds to me, entrepreneurs that are gone on to do amazing and wonderful stuff, and also gave me the opportunity to be sat here with you guys today. On top of that, what do I enjoy doing nowadays? I want to say that all the places to eat, I've seriously gained a lot of weight. No,
You're always in the gym, Marvin. You can't put weight on. You're constantly working out.
But yeah, there is so many wonderful places, from like Korean to Mexican, Italian. There is just an assortment of places. And also, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but Mackey's is 5 minutes away from the library.
It is close. I have to admit, I nipped out earlier just before and grabbed a cappuccino from McDonald's. I've got a question in the chat for you, Marvin, from Checkmate 3022. Would you recommend getting a part-time job alongside full-time education?
I would say that, yes, I would recommend it, because it is part of helping you, grow, and really helps you with your finances at the time. And it can, depending on your situation, it can also just be a brilliant way to already start building that CV, that experience that later on that you can take. And there's a number of different transferable skills. So I'd say get working, because it can help you in so many ways.
I have to say, I agree. My stepson studied at Lincoln, and he had a part-time job in Thornton's, and also as a student ambassador now and again. And it was fabulous. It was a fabulous experience. It really gave him a chance to put some of the learning into action as well. And the last question, I think, for you, Marvin, from Ash: are there any clubs that students are free to join or form?
As Amina said, there is over 100 and something clubs that you can join, and yeah, you're free to, you're welcome to join. Well, I think not all of them. Time is of the essence and all that. As many as you can fit in, and I don't know what the rules are, but you are definitely also welcome to find a spot, a niche, your own club that you want to form. If there's a particular book, a particular thing you like, anything you particularly enjoy doing, like the people that love to row, there's a rowing society. If you want to do anything particular, you're welcome to. Absolutely.
It's about getting, Ash, I think it's really about, if there's any sort of other fellow students that have your interest, they group together, go to the SU, and they will support you. That's the key thing, isn't it? If there isn't a group already, that's how we've created over 150, because that's how they have literally come about, isn't it? That's what Lincoln is all about.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, totally. And Marvin, any final tips before we move on from you? Anything you'd like to share in your wisdom of the many things that you've done?
Yes, I'd say as soon as you get here, find everyone on your course across the years and get all the tips on how and what and do's and don'ts. Lincoln is such a close community and family and stuff, and you will absolutely love, and the advice will be invaluable. So get out there and get meeting.
Oh, that is a really, really good set of advice, really, Marvin. And as ever, it's an absolute joy to talk to you. You're one of our best alumnus, and I'm so proud of you and everything you've achieved. And so thank you so much for spending time with me and Emma, and for coming back to see your old library, your old home from home. And I think we're going to say goodbye to you, Marvin. and go and meet Will, who's one of our current students. Will is currently a medical student. Hi, Will.
Hello.
Hi, Will.
How are you?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Yeah, we're really cool, aren't we? We're having a super time.
Good.
It's really good. Are you in your accommodation there, Will?
I am, yes. Yeah.
Oh, are you going to show us around?
Yeah, go on then, quick. I'm all plugged in, but that's my bed.
Oh, that's good. You made the bed, which is good.
I did make the bed. I'm sat at my desk. But,
And no pajamas, unlike the rehearsal, which is good.
you can't see the lower half of me.
So is that accommodation on campus, Will, or are you?
It's not. No, I'm in a house this year. Actually, I was in a house last year as well. But yeah, I'm living with some course mates.
And so did you meet those course mates? You're in your second year, so you met those course mates last year, and then you sort of decided this year to sort of live together. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, it's quite a nice way of doing it. Really, you can just sort of choose who you want to be living with this year. And yeah, we moved into a house. I mean, most of my housemates were in student accommodation last year, and then we found a house together. And we've been here for I think 3 weeks now.
And so you're back. You're ahead of the majority of the University of Lincoln students. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So tell us what you've been doing. Tell us what life's been like in the second year as a medical student at Lincoln.
Yeah, so it's great being back. I mean, it's slightly surreal, but I think it'll start being a bit more lively now. Students are sort of moving back into onto campus. But yeah, it's been great. All lectures are online. Obviously because of the circumstances, but yeah, we do have a lot of face-to-face stuff still. So as a medical student, things like anatomy and clinical skills, we've been doing face-to-face, and we've also had GP placements. But yeah, it's great having the face-to-face contact when we can have it. But yeah, the online lectures are working really well. I guess it gives you a bit more time. You can literally roll out of bed or not, but
you can stay in bed even.
Exactly, yeah, and just tune in. But yeah, they're great. It's yeah, we also do sort of group stuff on Teams. So if you've got like practicals to do that involve sort of looking at images and slides and things, histology, we do that as a group on Teams. But yeah, I think everyone's adapted really well, and I think people are quite optimistic about things really.
And we saw some of your face-to-face teaching this week, Will, when the Minister for Universities, the Minister of State for Universities visited, and you met her as well, Will. And
yeah.
I was so amazed by the clinical placements, not the clinical placements, the clinical training sessions and teaching sessions, and how they were working in the anatomy sessions. Can you tell us a bit more about that, Will, in terms of what the experience is like?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, when we go along, the social distancing and PPE measures are in place, and I mean, yeah, as I say, like having the face-to-face sessions for things like the practical sessions like that, I don't think you could really learn from a distance. So yeah, they're really, really good, and you always feel safe. So you're partnered up with someone, so you basically form like a bubble. And yeah, you basically practice the clinical skills on each other. You're guided through it. But yeah, obviously, yeah, aprons, masks, gloves, Pfizer. Yeah, I mean, it's you get used to it. I don't actually find it too bad, especially when you're only in for, I don't know, an hour and a half. It's all right. And
the GP sessions that you did, because you went to Louth this week. No, that was last week, wasn't it? And you went and did your placement with the GP. What was that like?
I mean, yeah, it was really good. It's always good having the first-hand experience, whatever the circumstance, really. I mean, mainly telephone consultations, as you'd expect. But yeah, we had some patients come in, which was great to actually see patients.
Did you cure anyone, Will?
I didn't know. I let the doctor do that.
And tell us, Will, what's your favourite thing to do in Lincoln?
I think, as people have alluded to, it's quite a difficult question to answer. I think it's got something for everyone. I'm quite active. I like exploring. I like running. So like running around the local areas is really good fun. I also love it up by the historic centre, so the cathedral and the castle. Actually, I walked. So on if you go to the castle, you can walk around the trail around the top. I did that for the first time on Friday, which was great. Great views of
yeah, no, I was just going to say it's really Game of Thrones, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's amazing because you stand up there and you sort of look down over the cathedral. It almost looks like a sort of, I don't know, mini toy village type thing from up there. But it's great. You really do feel sort of in the heart of it all, and it's a lovely city to explore. But, favorite thing to do, I don't know. Yeah, it's something for everyone. I'd say probably exploring, but there's loads to do. I mean, I also go to the art gallery, and I quite like my art, so I sometimes go on a Wednesday evening to do some life drawing and things like that. So helps with the anatomy.
Obviously, it's deadline day for 2021 medical students this week.
It is Friday.
Thursday, 15th, obviously, 15th of October. And so is there any top tips you would give those students that may be watching now and they're just finalising their application? What would you give them for their top tips?
I mean, I'd always say be yourself. I would say try and get your own your personality across, be genuine, say why you want to do it. But also don't worry. I mean, so I didn't get into medicine straight away. I didn't even apply first time round. I basically took quite a while to realise I wanted to be a doctor. But so I did a first degree elsewhere, and then I came to Lincoln as a mature student. But yeah, you find your own path really. So, but yeah, I'd say be yourself. I'm sure you'll be fine, and get that application in on time. And get as many people to read it as well. I find so mum, dad, friends who are doctors, friends who are medical students. I mean, it's always worth getting people to read it and see how you come across, because you want to come across as yourself. You don't want them to read this thing about you, and then you turn up at the interview and they're like, oh, I didn't expect you to be like that. But be genuine.
Something else that you do as a student, Will, that I don't think you've sort of mentioned this morning is you're part of the MedSoc.
That's right.
Do you want to sort of talk about that? Because that's obviously another sort of society for medical students. So tell us.
Definitely. So I'm vice president of the medical society. So it's actually the first year we got it properly running up, and because there was a previous MedSoc that was before the medical school started. So when the medical school started, we wanted to sort of create a society that was able to support the needs of medical students and also people who are interested in medicine. We worked quite hard over the summer and last year to try and get the MedSoc in a position to support medical students. Obviously with everything going on, it's been a bit difficult and not quite what we expected our first year as a fully functioning MedSoc to be, but I'd say under these circumstances, it's even more important for things like MedSoc to exist, because it's a support network, and I think it's important. So we've got various things going on, some online, some face to face. We've got sort of careers advice talks every week. We had one last week and coming up this week as well, I think. So we had a local GP come and do a talk and things. We were planning a lot more face-to-face things and balls and parties and nights out and events and that kind of stuff. But there are still social things happening. So the MedSoc runs a medic family scheme. So you're paired up with someone in the year below, or they're paired up with someone in the year above when they first join, and they're sort of like an unofficial mentor type thing. So you can help them out with places to go and eat, or if you got any tips on how to revise or take notes, that kind of stuff. So there's all kinds of measures in place to help with the people easing their way into university.
No, I think that's great. I'm just going to come in very quickly, Emma. Just say a huge thanks to Ben for his thank you for the advice and knowledge so far. And he and Billy have mentioned the subject talks coming up. And I just want to make sure that we explain to people how they get to the subject talks, because if you're going to a subject talk, you need to be thinking about that now. So Emma, would you be happy to explain?
Absolutely. So if you go onto our Lincoln, thank you, Darren, onto there. So click onto there and literally scroll down. So you'll see us at the top and you literally scroll down, keep scrolling down the page, and then you will come to the College of Arts, the College of Science, College of Social Science, and that will lead you into, there will be a countdown now pretty much, and with an agenda as to what is happening at 12 and at 1 o'clock perhaps, and that will take you to your talks.
And there are little boxes that you can click on to join those talks.
Yeah, and you can book a one-to-one with an academic if you wish. You can book, ask the questions whilst the talks are happening. Again, speak to the unibuddy, to the students. Everybody is here until 2 o'clock. So please ask the questions. But the talks, you're absolutely right, Billy and Ben and everybody else, they are coming up, and that's what you want to know. You need to know about the subject and the course now.
And thank you to Louis Neal for explaining that. We're going to need you as one of our ambassadors, Louis, if you join us. So please do find me and Emma when you come here if you want to be an ambassador. Are you going to become an ambassador, Will?
I think I am one.
Yeah,
I don't think I am this afternoon though, but I have done before.
Oh, you're a unibuddy ambassador, aren't you? So you answer questions and tell people what's going on. And the business school are already saying, if you're thinking about business, the head of the school, the pro vice chancellor for business, Craig Marsh, who is amazing and not to be missed, is leading a roundtable discussion with staff and students in 10 minutes time. Equally, arts have got various talks starting at 1 p.m, talks in design, English and journalism, film and media, fine and performing arts, history and heritage, all starting from 1 o'clock. So you've got time to go and grab some lunch if you're going to arts, I think, haven't you? Which is super. And then if you're going to science, there's a computer science talk at 12 and a chemistry talk at 12. And then social science have got various talks going on in education, health and social care, law, psychology, social and political sciences, sport and exercise. Sorry, I'm sorry, Emma, I got that wrong. So don't miss them. Those subject talks are absolutely brilliant, aren't they, Emma?
They really are, and that's where you can sort of ask questions, because they are live, so they're not pre-records in many cases, but there is some pre-recorded stuff as well. So as we said at the start, you can have a mix, and if you are not available, then you can come back and watch it later on this evening. And we are, if you've got questions, if you're not watching it in real time, then you can sort of ask us the questions at on our website. You can ask the questions, or on our Facebook site or Instagram site. Please make sure that you're joining all of those, so that you can sort of embed yourself in that Lincoln community straight away, really.
And Drewy77, I absolutely love you. He says, Emma, this is for you. This has been excellent, and you will. And well done to you all, and thank you for the hard work. Thank you so much, Drewy. And Natalie, thank you as well. We're really looking forward to welcoming you, and it's really good. Will, what do you wish you'd known 2 years ago that you know now?
I'm not sure what in terms of moving to university.
Yeah, just in terms of coming to uni, what do you wish you'd done differently? If you could go back to your first week at uni, what would you have done differently? Or maybe nothing. Maybe everything's perfect.
I'd say get involved. I mean, so I also say that's my second time around at university. yeah, first time around, maybe I didn't like try out as many things as I should have done straight away. So, and I think I regretted that. But yeah, I think do as much as you can, and yeah, and be as open-minded. Really, I mean, there's so much to offer, as people have said, in terms of societies and just general things to do. So, so yeah, just try and find your thing, and you have a great time.
It's really good advice, Will. A practical question, Emma. I don't know the answer to this one. I don't know if producer Darren can help, or maybe you can, Emma. Megan Davis said, what talk covers bioveterinary science?
So that would be the School of Life Sciences, Megan. So the School Bioveterinary Science fits into the School of Life Sciences.
And so that will be in the science section. And probably if you go into the information zone, you will find that, I would imagine. But I'm hoping that producer Darren will help with that.
Biochemistry is not under medicine. Biochemistry is under the chemistry, School of Chemistry, which I think, Ellie, you've already sort of listed that one.
Yeah, that one's there.
Combined. Sorry, Lauren again is asking about combined criminology and sociology. The School of Social and Political Sciences, they are on a Blackboard site. So you can go to that one.
From the information zone. Go into the information zone.
Yeah, from the information zone, please go to the information zone. Yeah.
Sorry, Emma, I just wanted to say to Anna Louise, who says she feels much less nervous, please, please, please don't feel nervous. Please enjoy every moment. And when you get here, there's all sorts of support for you if you need it. Find me, find Emma, go to student services. Will, what advice would you give to anyone who felt a bit nervous?
I'd say don't worry about being nervous. It's normal. I was very nervous, but you'll soon realise that you've got nothing to worry about. Yeah, it's an exciting time of your life. Everyone's in the same position. Just be yourself, and you'll be fine.
And it's a bit like Chris Packham said earlier, wasn't it? And his advice was about career advice, but be kind to other people, be fun to be around.
Definitely, absolutely. Yeah, because obviously everyone's going to be nervous, so you don't want to, yeah, definitely be kind.
Now, Emma Harvey, this is one for you, I think, Will. It says, how do you find the support after lectures? Do you have a lecture thrown at you and then you're left to it, or do you get the support that you feel you need, Will?
I definitely feel we have the support we need. I think, the lecturers are really great, and that we know them really well and things, and yeah, if you ever have a problem, you can ask it. It's not a problem, and also they'll often hang around at the end of lectures, and you can always post questions there, or if you want to ever have a chat and ask you. And when we were in person, I'd often hang around at the end of lectures and have a chat with them about something to clear things up. But yeah, even in terms of just like tutor support, so even through the summer, like my tutor was great, and we'd always have like meetings throughout the summer just to check we were doing all right. But yeah, no, the support network here is great. I do feel like the well-being and all of that is great as well. Very supportive.
No, that's really good. And we've got a question about when is the art and design talk? That's at 1 p.m. But again, if you go into the information sessions, Marika, then you'll find a little bit more information there. So go on to the link below that producer Darren's put in, the virtual open day link. And Emma, I think we're coming to the end of our time. I'm going to finish by asking you what your favourite thing is about Lincoln and what's kept you here.
What has kept me? Do you know what? I think it's just Lincoln as a city, I think is that feeling of community. I think that's what I really love. As I've been here for so long, I think I've loved how the university has actually sort of brought the city alive, to be fair. So it's sort of brought the city alive. There's so much more here. And I just love the fact that actually you can be out and at the coast within an hour. I love going across to the Lincolnshire coast as well. So it just has everything here, really.
I think that's a brilliant answer, and it sums up an absolutely brilliant session that I've really enjoyed today, and I hope you have. We're going to stop now because an awful lot of the talks start at 12 o'clock, which according to my watch is 60 seconds time. So it's a massive thank you for staying with us today, and a goodbye from me.
And from me and from Will, I think.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.